This next talk will focus on the DNA Data Storage Alliance activities. Will be an introduction. Then during the roundtable, there will be a discussion with the board of the Alliance. I am co-chairing the DNA Data Storage Alliance together with Dave Landsman from Western Digital. So Dave will give you an overview of the current activities of DNA Data Storage Alliance. And during the roundtable, the idea is to discuss with all of you about the activities of the Alliance, what you expect in the future from the Alliance, and listen to your suggestions about what are the important topics that the Alliance should focus on in the coming years. So with this, I would like to just either you use this microphone or the one there, if you prefer to move.
I'll try this. Yeah. Okay, hello. Welcome. I'm super excited to be at this event, and I want to thank Stephane first, before I start, for both joining me as co-chair of the Alliance, which really helps me out, and for putting on this event. He's really did all the heavy lifting for this event. So really, thank you, Stephane. So I want to try and just give a quick update of the Alliance activities. So let's see, I'm just gonna. So yeah, well, I wasn't sure if I'm gonna do these first introductory slides, but we basically we're here talking about DNA because there's a real dilemma. I call it the save discard dilemma. It's getting increasingly expensive and impractical to save all the data we want to save with existing HDD, SSD, tape technology. So, and then also the opportunity cost of throwing away that data is getting higher and higher. And that trend is, I think, being made more acute by AI and ML because we can mine that data even more efficiently. So this has led to, as we see this explosion of digitized data, it's led to a need for new media types that are dense, durable at room temperature, essentially zero power at rest, and no or minimal refresh. This is a very, if you talk to data center people, it's very, very important because the refresh cycles for some technologies, for some libraries, has to start before you've finished filling up the tier for the current generation of technology. It's just getting crazy. There's also a potential for molecular compute. I'm not quite as familiar with that, but we'll hear talks during this conference from David Turek and others on compute. So the other thing about DNA data storage, it's kind of a natural ecosystem already because it's built on the medical and scientific advances of the past decades, very profound advances. And it's kind of a natural multi-vendor ecosystem because of that. The pipeline is complex. There are many players in each stage. There are challenges associated with each stage. And there's a need for cross-pipeline research and cooperation. So this is really why we created the Data Storage Alliance. Twist launched the Alliance, and it kind of fired up in 2019. I'm not that old. We incorporated in 2020. We joined SNIA in 2022, and our mission is to try and create an ecosystem, so an interoperable DNA data storage ecosystem can emerge for both storage and compute. We have three main goals. in the scope. We want to educate the market. Whoops. Trying to use, I guess I should point there. We want to educate the market to create awareness and adoption of DNA data storage. We want to try and influence and drive R&D spending and maybe funding. I mean, we really haven't, this is a vector I don't think we've really executed on yet, but maybe it's an aspirational goal. And we want to develop standards and specifications where it makes sense, given that the technology is so nascent. We're 40 plus members now. And, you know, we're like a general standards work group or an industry work group. We have regular meetings, work group meetings. I'll talk about them. And in terms of standards, SNIA is certified as an ISO spec pipeline. So we can, if we do develop standards that we want to be made into ISOs, that's an easy option. Okay, so I'll just cover, excuse me. So the work groups that we've put together so far, we have a data retention work group, which the next two talks in the next session we'll talk about the work that's done here. We have a codex work group where we were looking at things like, can we standardize anything? Should we do an open source codec? So far, all we've done is tried to take a baby step of doing a technical white paper that's just about to be published, which is kind of about examples and requirements and what makes a good DNA codec from the standpoint of industry development. We have an interoperable interfaces work group, or we did, and we developed just a model of what a DNA storage system would look like in the data center and try and talk about the inputs and outputs and from the various stages and orchestration. And we've presented that at a few conferences. We haven't published a spec on it yet. That will maybe become a white paper. And the the next work group we've done is we've started a biosecurity work group. And the goal, the first task we took on was very modest, I guess. James might disagree, but we wanted to basically make sure the regulators don't over-regulate us. Because, you know, in DNA data storage, we have a lot more control over the sequences. We don't have constraints of medical and scientific applications. So to start with, we just want to try and make some headway with regulators around the world to give them something to implement rather than having them make it up. So, and we're thinking about what comes next in that. I think we just need to have some discussions around in the alliance and beyond the alliance on what makes sense to do here for biosecurity and biosafety. And then the other, one other work stream that we had was the DNA Archive Rosetta Stone work group. This really kind of belongs in the codec work group, but at the time we just formed it. It was a separate little work stream. So we developed this standard that we published, Sector 0 and Sector 1, and it basically defines a set of oligos and a set of information that are encoded, a set of information that can be discovered from those oligos to try and get archive self-discovery done. And we published that. It's a 1.0. There's probably more work to do to adapt it in various ways, but we submitted it as a first step. And then finally, we formed a roadmap SIG. And we had an aspiration to do a comprehensive roadmap of DNA data storage. What we found is we had a huge contribution from many people around the Alliance, but there really wasn't a roadmap in the sense that there's a roadmap for HDD technology or SSDs or tapes. But So we've taken that work and we're also about to publish a white paper that kind of does a technology update, you know, and not a kind of industry style technology update. And we have to decide what's next after that. And we've been having some discussions recently about, you know, other work streams that we might want to consider. And I've been discussing this. So I joined the meeting in Prague a couple of weeks ago that many of you were at, I guess. And we're trying to integrate and solicit, bring the EIC Pathfinder programs into this orbit so we can all talk together. And we've been talking in the Alliance, and a couple of things that came out is maybe doing some kind of work stream on random access. To me, there's clearly no standards activity that goes on here, but it's a really rich area of research, and we probably want to, I'm not sure exactly what the Alliance can do on this, but we want to talk about it more, and we'll do that in the roundtable. And then right verification is another one that came up in these discussions. You know, like the Library of Congress in their current RFP for doing a data storage trial wants to be able to verify what they've written without reading the whole archive. So this seems like something that might lend itself to some Alliance work. Excuse me, my voice is kind of bad. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we've been up to. We're publishing a few specs. We're giving talks at conferences, and of course, we've wanted to do this kind of an event since we started, and so I hope this will be a successful kickoff, and we'll take it from there. So that's all the slide material I have, and really quick one. We'll make up some time. So we can take some questions, or we can leave the discussion for the roundtable, whatever. But if people have comments, questions, please.
Thank you, Dave.